So I just got home from the Moth, performing at the Moth last night. It was my 169th performance at the Moth, I think. About 131 StorySLAMs and 39 GrandSLAMs, and actually some main stage shows. A whole bunch is the point. And yet, despite all of those performances, I learned something important last night. On the way to the Moth, I put my story together in the car, which is not something you should really do, but I will occasionally do. I knew what my story was, like I sort of know what happened and I knew what my beginning and ending were, but I didn't really have any structure. I hadn't spoken it out loud. I hadn't put words to it. So I got in the car. I've got a 2-hour drive to Boston. I've got 2 friends with me. Both of them attend Moths all the time with me, and so they're good at giving me advice. And so I sort of picked through the story once and figured out what it would be. And then I said it a couple more times, honing some of the moments, finding the right sentences, all of those things. And then I got to the Moth, and my name was chosen 4th, so I told my story. And during intermission, another storyteller who happened to be attending, who knows me and who knows that sometimes I will put a story together in the car and then perform it on stage, which again is not the smartest thing to do, but something I occasionally do. This storyteller asked my friend Kaya, so I want to know, is the story that Matt told you in the car on the way to the Moth the same story that he just told on the stage? And Kaya said, absolutely not. And I was surprised by her answer, but it only took me a second to realize she was totally correct. The story I told in the car was completely different than what I had done on stage. In the car, what I did was created structure. I figured out what the scenes would be. I knew what the goals of each scene would be. I sort of developed some transitions from scene to scene. But that was about all I did in the car. I gave it words the first time, but the words that I gave it in the car were actually not the same words I performed on stage. I found new jokes to tell along the way. I dropped information that I felt wasn't necessary. I responded to the audience when they seemed to like something. I added a little bit to it, and when they seemed not to respond to something, I pulled back. Kaya was completely right. The story on stage really came to life in a way it had not come to life in the car, but what I did, and what I tell people all the time, is I gave it structure in which I could work. I don't memorize stories, I remember them. I remember what happened to me, and I create the structure so that when I'm on stage, I can be flexible and I can adjust and I can meet the needs of the audience and I can meet the time limit and all of those things. So structure, it's everything. It is really the framework in which we operate as storytellers and performers. We need to know what the goal of each scene is, how we get from one to the other, what's the chronological structure that we've created. But ultimately, once we have that in place, we have the freedom to adjust and create and respond in meaningful ways. I won the slam that night. It was my 61st Moth StorySLAM win of about 131 StorySLAMs. And so I did well. I did well with structure, not with memorization, not with the careful choice of vocabulary, not with sentence structure, but with an understanding about what my story was, a framework in which I could operate, and then the freedom to create, adjust, modify, be myself, so that I wasn't someone who was reciting memorized words on stage, but actually telling a story from my heart and my mind with a little bit of planning ahead. It's not the way I would advise anyone to go and perform in front of 500 people. It is not the way that you should ever think about doing it. This is one of those do as I say, not as I do situations. But what you should be thinking is structure first. Once you understand the beginning and the end and the scenes and the transitions and the goals of each one of those scenes, once you have that in place, the sentences that you apply become your own. And when they really are your own and not so pre-planned that they feel like they're memorized and performed, that is when storytelling becomes alive. So Kaya was right. The story I told in the car was very different than the story I told on stage. And yet, ultimately, it was the same story. So, structure. Structure first, everything else second. Thanks for watching, and if you're still watching and you haven't clicked off yet to the next video, good for you. Like, way to go. Like the video since you're still here. Subscribe to the channel because I'm going to make another video and you're going to like that one too. And stick around. I really appreciate you watching what I'm making.